is the moment fans watching around the world have been waiting for.
Listen.
The 5-time champion winning, that's the squad. Mention Dallas once and they know who we are. The infamous star, his shine brighter than any. Then turn your YouTube on and just start listening to Henny. You know what he spit is legit facts and stacks. Breaking down the cash is buried all in the contracts. Who got hurt, who got benched, what's the score? Ask the man behind the hat in the shades, your landlord. Giving us a real, he ain't scared to name names. Delivering the NFL news with southern slang. Move out the way, don't want no birds, no cheesesteaks. Or them tiny little men from New York, get up your weight. And Washington, hey yo, what's your name again? You had the biggest year of your life, still couldn't win. And then again, they don't got time to mess with you. West Coast is in the booth and he getting the interviews. With Jerry Jones, you know we make sure we in the news. And the people saying give us some more, they can't refuse. They call up Lou, get all his takes, he coming through. Now we drunk and nefarious and they taking y'all to school. Cowboys College, fill you up with all the knowledge. They link up with Boss or with Vach, you gotta watch it. And it's you got it, dropping the intro, get to know me. We staying on their neck until we holding up the trophy. Again, yeah.
You don't know half the stuff that was happening.
You already know what it is.
Playing for the Cowboys is different.
Yo, big up HTM Sports. Landlord from Alabama and West Coast Cowboy.
No matter what they say.
Giving you the best of Cowboys Convos, Cowboys news and everything that's going on in and around the NFL.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about this Cowboys?
You better tap in,
And we are live. Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed. It's your boy, Henny Demore, reporting live from the liquor store, man. How's everybody doing, man? God bless. Happy Saturday. Hope all is well. You know, hope you prevailed through your work week and everything was Gucci. But we got a lot to discuss this morning, man. It's 7:03 in the morning right now in little old Texarkana, Texas, where I'm at right now. Where is that in y'all parts of the world? That's what I need to know. My boy Devin Overton said, I slept in today, made it at 6:20 a.m. So it's 6:20 when my brother, no, I think he's just saying that he slept in 6:20. But yeah, where y'all at in y'all parts of the world, man? Let me know in the chat box, man. Grand Rising, good morning, all that other good stuff to my people out there in the chat box, man. But we got some stuff to discuss, man. Now, recently, you know, I've been dropping graphics. Salute to my brother Germ, you know, for the assist on a lot of them things we've been dropping. They've been doing numbers, and of course, you know, it raised questions, and you know, you can never bring up the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott not be brought up. You know, I dropped that running back graphic, and they're like, "Well, where the fuck is Dak? What did Dak do in the games?" No, they're screaming and shit. Like, man, shut the fuck up. But really, though, I did want to just talk about in totality, you know, what been happening in these boss battles, in these playoff games, because I'm of the mindset that the Dallas Cowboys somehow, some way, is going to make it into the postseason this year. I feel like that offense is going to be close to what it was last year. The defense should be greatly improved. I'd say greatly improved because they were the fourth worst defense ever assembled. They were the fourth worst defense ever created. You know, so because of that, I'm not expecting that level of ass this year. I am expecting them not to be the best defense you ever seen, nothing like that, but they will be better than fourth worst all time. So, you know, with that train of thought, we were able to win 7 games last year with the fourth worst defense ever. I'm sure if this defense is middle of the pack, average, any of these other different things, you know, then we'll win double-digit games. We'll win about 10, 11 games. We probably qualify to get into the big dance. But I feel like we got to understand what's really going on in these playoff games. I need us to, because in order to fix a problem, you must first understand that there is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get treatments for cancer and you don't know you got cancer. You know what I'm saying? So let's just go down the list of how players played, right? Or how position groups played. And then we can really answer the question, how do we fix this shit? You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're going to do here today. We're going to show y'all some metrics, some graphics, some things that happen over the course of these playoff games or that span of time in the playoffs with the Dallas Cowboys. And we're going to see, right now, as of today, do we feel more comfortable, in that regard? If it's run defense, do we feel more comfortable with the run defense going into it? If it's the quarterback play, do we feel more comfortable with the quarterback right now and the offensive weapon? The running game. We're going to break down each and every facet of the game and, just really talk through this shit. But like I said, I feel like we're going to make the playoffs this year. The question is, once we get to the playoffs, what are they going to do? Right? So just, overview. These are the Dallas Cowboys' last 5 playoff losses in totality. Right? So let's just, just go through them. Starting at the bottom of the very first one in the Dak Prescott era, go up to the top. That's the most recent playoff games, right? So it's really in descending order. If you look at it from top to bottom, if you look at it from the bottom up, then that's how it actually happened. So most recently, right, the Dallas Cowboys lost a fucking laugher to the Green Bay Packers. Defense gave up really 41 points because 7 of them came off a pick 6 from Dak. But the defense, gave up 41 points. Didn't play well at all at the crib. Then you look back to the 49ers game. Defense did all right. Did they force turnovers and did they stop the run effectively? No. But they did, hold the 49ers to 19 points at their crib, and we weren't able to win that game. You go down to the other loss against the 49ers. Ended up being 23-17. This was the game where we had a historic amount of penalties. We had like 12 penalties. No, we had 15 penalties that game. We had a historic 15 penalties that game, and that what ended up happening there. The Rams game gave up 30 points. Also gave up 273 yards on the ground that game. And then, one of the most heartbreaking games I ever saw, the shootout that we got into with Aaron Rodgers in Dak Prescott's first playoff game. And we end up losing that game on a last-second field goal that was 34-31. So this has been the history of the final scores and the outcomes of the Dallas Cowboys in the postseason since Dak Prescott has been the starting quarterback. This is 2016, up until our last playoff game in 2023, right? So that's how everything has transpired up to this point. But that's just the box score. That's just how things ended. That's just how things ended at this point. But let's talk about some of these units that have been letting the Dallas Cowboys down. You know what? One of these units, so sorry, I ain't put their shit in here. I got a whole graphic for their ass that I forgot to put in here. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So let's start off with our running backs. And then while I'm trying to add this other graphic in to show how ass these other players is, we'll move along. So this ain't the same graphic, but we also know that this still holds true. This is still going to be an issue going into the postseason if we don't have it fixed. The Dallas Cowboys have not had a 100-yard rusher in a playoff game. Because I know I'm only showing the losses, but they have not had a 100-yard rusher at all since the 2018 game against the Seattle Seahawks. Right, that's the last time that we had a 100-yard rusher in a postseason game. So 2018 against the Rams, Zeke was neutralized. 20 carries for 47 yards, 2.4 yards per carry, only a touchdown. He was the only running back that game to even get a carry. Right, Dak Prescott was the only other player to rush the football, and of course, Dak Prescott had a 1-yard rushing touchdown. He wasn't really featured in the run game either. Then you go to the next game, 2021. Zeke 12 carries for 31 yards, 2.6 yards an attempt, 0 touchdowns. Tony Pollard 4 carries, 14 yards, not a damn touchdown. So that's a 2-game stretch, right? Zeke was held under 3 yards a carry in the 2018 loss. Zeke was held under 3 yards a carry in the 2021 loss. And Tony Pollard, if you break that math down, I didn't include the yards per carry on that one, but if you divide 14 by 4, you know, he was held to only 3.5 yards an attempt. So that's back-to-back games where you lost, you know, and these were one possession games. These were back-to-back games where you lost, you know, by at least a point, you know, where your run game was non-existent. They no call, no show to the party. They gave you absolutely nothing, you know, and that was not the case for your offense going into the season. Like in 2018, Ezekiel Elliott was a dynamic runner still. You know, maybe it was the game plan you could point to. You could point to the game plan being bad. You know, you could point to it being a bad matchup. That front that included Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh for the Rams. You know, them continuously calling dives up the middle for Ezekiel Elliott. Maybe that wasn't the best plan of attack in 2018. 2021, not so sure why that occurred like that. Now the 49ers front was gangster. They was lit, but you know, if you're truly a run dominant team, then you find a way. You find a way. That's all I'm saying. 2022, Zeke 10 carries, 26 yards. Then, you know, Tony Pollard was your most effective running back that game. And of course, because he was playing too well, his leg magically broke. Yeah, his leg magically broke because he was playing way too good. So yeah, man. 6 carries, 22 yards. So let's do the simple math on these games, bro. Let's do the real simple math on these games. Your running backs in a playoff game in 2018 only gave you 47 yards, right? So they only gave you 47 yards in 2018. Zeke and Tony Pollard combined in 2021 only gave you 45 yards. So that's 47 plus 45. So in a 2-game stretch, your running back room gave you 92 yards. Not one running back, but in a 2-game stretch, your running back room in totality only accounted for 92 yards. That shit is abysmal. Like, how the fuck? Let me just be quite frank with y'all, man. And good morning to my brother Jern, man. Good morning to my brother Jern. He made a lot of this shit happen behind the scenes, helping us, you know, make these graphics so we can talk through this stuff and make it look pretty and shit. So salute to my brother Jern. Matter of fact, y'all make sure y'all go follow him. You know, if you need some graphic design, hit my boy up, man. But I said this before on the show. The running backs are who people act like Dak Prescott are in the postseason. That's who the running backs are. The Dallas Cowboys running backs are exactly who you think Dak Prescott is in the postseason. They are the ones that consistently underperform. They are the one that consistently no call, no show. They're the one that consistently, you know, let the team down. They're the one that give you absolutely nothing. They are the one that are shut out. They are exactly who you think Dak Prescott is. They are exactly who you think Dak Prescott is. All these jokes like, oh man, Dak don't ever show up in the playoffs, man. Dak. Your fucking running game and your running backs are exactly who y'all act like Dak Prescott is. That level of ass is reserved for them and them alone. Now, of course, your defense has also been bad, and that's going to be a topic on here momentarily as well. You know, because they ain't played too well. But your running game, especially in a lot of these years, we were relying heavily on these running games. 2018, we were still a run first team. We had just got Amari Cooper. Like that offense was still running through Zeke in the play action, and they took Zeke out of the game. 2021. It was still very much a run-centric team. Like, yes, you had weapons, and Dak, threw for 37 touchdowns, but you had a run game in the regular season. Ezekiel Elliott went for over 1,000 yards. Tony Pollard went for over 800, if I'm not mistaken. So, point being, like, your running game was good in 2021, and then it evaporated, like crack smoke. The moment the postseason started. So that's why it matters so much to me, and that's why it pisses me off. Like, we were depending on you. We needed you. You are one of the most important facets of our team and our offense, and you want to quit on me mid-game? You're not there for me? You abandoned me in my time of need, in my time of crisis? When we up here trying to, get back to a championship game, get back to a Super Bowl, and you just don't give me shit? So yeah, man. So let's ask the question. Now that I'm done fussing and cussing and shit, because it always pisses me off that we're in this position to even have these discussions. But let's have that discussion right now. How do y'all feel about the Dallas Cowboys running back room as of right now? Right? Do you feel like the way that they are currently constructed, that they are in a better situation not to be ass in the playoffs? That's a real question. I want to know that, because if the answer is no, we need to be making moves right now to make ourselves feel better about our ability to run the football, against, good fronts, good defenses, shit like that. Because I don't want to get into the playoffs and become a one-dimensional offense. Because when that happens, don't even trip about it, man. Newhouse, we just having a simple conversation about the playoff woes of the Dallas Cowboys. And we're just asking the question, as of right now, is this team in a better situation to not have these kind of things reoccur? So we were just sitting here in Newhouse that you just came in. I'm gonna summarize what we're talking about, and then we're gonna get back into it. We were just talking about the running back room, how bad they were. These are the stats. Take a screenshot of that shit. Save it. Do whatever you need to do, because this is important information. They were bad. Only 47 yards. As a team, 2018, the running back room. 2021, Zeke and Tony Pollard combined for only 45 yards. 2022, Zeke and Tony Pollard only combined for 48 yards. And then 2023, Tony Pollard and Rico Dow only combined for 66 yards, because Tony Pollard did end up having 55 yards. But point being, your running back room hasn't cracked 70 yards, in the last 4 playoff losses. They ain't even broke 70 yards as a unit, let alone having running backs go for 70 yards. We haven't had a 100-yard rusher since 2018. So the question that I was posing, and I think some of y'all have answered in the chat box, was, are we in a position right now to where we feel more comfortable with our running back room than in these previous years? And I'm here to tell you, I don't think so. Hey, one mistake against the best teams in the world, and it's over with. Like, niggas, they can't be your margin for error. They can't be your margin for error, my guy. Your margin for error can't be perfection. You can't live life where any and every mistake, is, if that's the standard, then we ain't gonna win. We're not built like that. We're not built, for a quarterback to just play perfectly. But before I talk about this shit, this is gonna be how we grade this shit. We're gonna talk about his QBR in these playoff games, because QBR, while it's not perfect, it grades every single thing that the quarterback does. It grades every single thing that the quarterback does at that point in time, from running to how you pass the ball, your turnovers, decision making. All that shit is factored in, and it's also slanted against how good the defense that you're playing is. Right? It also goes there. Like, it also goes to that point. So this is the benchmark for QBR before I show you Dak's QBRs in these playoff games. Elite QBR, best in the league performance, likely leading to a win. 75 to 89 is excellent. Pro Bowl level, high caliber performance, high impact performance. 6 to 74, solid, above average, effective quarterbacking. So 60 and up, you play pretty damn good at that point. 50 is league average, right? It means you perform averagely. You perform as a mid-level quarterback, and you're usually going to win about 50% of the time, because that's also what it comes down to when it comes to the QBR. Your QBR percentage is usually the percentage in which you normally would win these games. So if a quarterback had a QBR in the 60s, 60% of the time they should win that football game. So the higher your QBR actually is, the bigger percentile chance they're saying that you should have won that football game. Right? So, and 30, you just was out there, you fucked up. You know, 30, you can't even defend the nigga. And that got a 30 on here. So I'm not gonna even sit here and act like this nigga's perfect. Like, I never would sit here and lie and say that Dak Prescott is without sin. But, you know, let's talk about the QBR now. So this is Dak Prescott's playoff QBR. This is him in every single game. Dak Prescott against the Green Bay Packers, first meeting in 2016, his very first playoff game. He had a QBR of 73.6. Right? So if we go back and we look, that was very solid. That was effective quarterbacking. That was almost a Pro Bowl caliber performance. You know, 75 and up, you know, his Pro Bowl, he was right there. He was right there flirting with a Pro Bowl caliber performance his very first playoff game as a rookie. Right? So let's go back to this. Seattle Seahawks, same thing. 72.5. Above average performance. Played very well. Right? And remember, your QBR is technically the percentage in which your team should have won that game. So in most situations, Dak Prescott would have won in 2016. He played at a level to where his team should have won 73.6% of the time. Seattle Seahawks, he played at a level to where his team should have won 72.5% of the time. Now, we did not end up winning the first Green Bay game, but we did, in fact, win the Seattle game. And he played well enough on paper to have won both of them games. Can we agree on that? Because we just starting at the top and working our way down. If the percentile is 73, 0.6, they should have won that game. Seattle Seahawks, we actually did win that game. So knowing those facts, we can all agree he should have won his both his first playoff games, correct? If we're going off of the QBR. I need y'all to answer in the chat box. Correct? Like, if we're going by the grading scale, he played well enough to win both of his first playoff games, correct? I just need to know we are all on the same page. I'm just trying to see, are we all on the same page? Let me know something. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Absolutely. Yeah, and League Commander, you just typing shit now. We sitting here showing you that the playoff play matters. You just up here typing the folks in the chat. Are you in here talking to people and not watching the show? You in here just typing the folks and not watching the show and the content, my guy? Let me know something. Because obviously he played well enough to win in 2016. He threw 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. He actually won the Seattle game, and he did not turn the ball over in the Rams game. You see what I'm saying? So his first 3 playoff games were great. Matter of fact, if we go by the graphic, against the Rams, Dak Prescott QBR was an 84.4. If you go back to the graphic that we just showed, that is excellent. You know, that is a Pro Bowl caliber performance that Dak Prescott had against the Los Angeles Rams in 2018, and they still fucking lost. And they still lost. Right? Correct? But this is no longer about conjecture. I'm gonna need y'all to be on the same page with me at this point. All right, so two great, well, 3 good performances. Dak Prescott started his career with 3 good performances. But what was the actual narrative? Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, they 1-2 in the playoffs. They 1-2. That's not really on Dak, especially when you talk about how it started. When you look at his first 3 games, Dak Prescott played well enough. If all of these 3 games actually happened in one season, he played well enough his first 3 playoff games to get you to a Super Bowl. If all 3 of these games happened in the same season, he played well enough to help you get to a Super Bowl. If he gives you a 73.6 and you win a 72.5 and then an 84.4, you should have won these games. You know, that can't be on Dak. He did his job this game. Now, granted, I did come on here and say this nigga was not without sin. He sinned against you a little bit in 2021. He was not good in 2021. Right? Now, he did end up having 2 touchdowns, and there was a bunch of other things that happened. You got ran off the field by the 49ers offense. You had 14 penalties. But I'll be fair, Dak Prescott was not that good against the 49ers in 2021. Right? And we go back to the standard of QBR. He in that 30 range. 30 says significant negative impact on team success. So Dak Prescott was a hindrance that game. He was. It is what it is. But if we put things in totality and we talking about what Dak Prescott did and what Dak Prescott is and how he played, he started out with 3 good, very good playoff games, and then he had 1 stinker in the 4th one. And that's cool. I don't expect you to be amazing. I don't expect you to be amazing every single playoff game. You know, Line didn't do no justice either. They end up with 20 pressures and 5 sacks against the 49ers. They couldn't really block at all. They had issues blocking against the run and the pass, as you saw how Zeke then was neutralized. They were in hell that game. I'm not gonna lie to you. They were in hell. All right. Then boom, we move along until the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, Dak Prescott, went crazy. This is actually one of the best postseason performances in the modern NFL era. He had a QBR that game of a 96.8. One of the best performances by a quarterback in league history, really, since they started keeping track of this shit. So this is really 1999 to now. He was one of the best playoff performers, in terms of QBR. He had one of the best ones. Speaking of cash apps, we're going to put a pin on this so I can go out here and panhandle real quick. We are still running the jersey raffles, my friend. We are still running the jersey, and we're running the starter jacket raffle. You can win either or, man. You can win either or from your boy. So to enter the raffles, all you got to do is hit the cash app, man. If you hit the cash app with at least $5, you will be able to win a jersey and get a raffle entry. It's $5 per entry. $20 gets you 5 entries. And we're gonna run the raffle all the way up until the 1st of July. Angie won the last one. She already got a jersey. We got confirmation on that. So we ain't out here doing no finessing. We stand on business. We make sure that we show love to the people that show love to us over here, man, on this platform. So if y'all want to help support the liquor store, I'll be frank with you. This money be going to graphics. This money be getting put back, for content. We working on trying to get some people onto the show. So, if y'all want more dope ass content, if you want more graphics, you want us to get back into our interview bag, hit the cash apps, man. It goes a long way in helping us make the content that we make, man. For real. And if it's too small for y'all to see on there, let me just put it in the chat box. $ Henny the Moore for raffle entries. And I appreciate everybody in advance for all the love y'all be showing, man. Real talk. Y'all be holding a nigga down, man. I wouldn't be able to be up here, making content the way that I make content without y'all. So kudos to y'all and thank y'all for everything. And salute to my boy Jay just tapping in. So if you're just now coming in, we're going position by position, line by line, and we're asking ourselves, how confident are we in that group not to repeat some of these blunders in the postseason? Now, we started off, quick recap for all the people just now started watching. We started off by talking about the Dallas Cowboys running game and how the Dallas Cowboys running backs in the last 4 playoff losses have not cracked 70 yards combined. Zeke only had 47 yards in 2018, only 45 yards from Zeke and TP in 2021. Only 48 yards from Zeke and TP in 2022. And then only 66 yards from Tony Pollard and Rico Dow in 2023. So you aren't cracking 70 yards, and you haven't had a 100-yard rusher since the 2018 game against the Seattle Seahawks in the postseason. So I think the consensus was we don't feel good about that because they shut down Zeke and TP. If they can do that, then they can shut down Javonte Williams and Jadon Blue, or Javonte Williams and Malik Davis, right? That's how I feel about that personally. Then we were talking about Dak Prescott. The Flow Man with a 499, he said Dak isn't good at pulling the team out of holes. He tried to play hero ball against the Green Bay Packers in 23, no picks, and I think that game was winnable. So see, that's what we keep coming back to when we talk about the margin for errors for these games. And I appreciate you for sending in a super chat. And that did also, Flow Man, get you a raffle entry. So kudos to you, my guy. You get a chance to win either a Dallas Cowboys starter jacket or a Dallas Cowboys jersey of your liking. If the and again, this is just my personal opinion though. If the margin of error is I can't make any mistakes, then that's a hard way to win, especially when you don't have a running game and you don't have defense. Right? So I get it. Your margin of error definitely shrinks. But I do want y'all to remember this. The Dallas Cowboys scored on 3 straight possessions, right? They scored at the end of the fourth quarter. Not the fourth quarter. They scored at the end of the second quarter, right before halftime. They scored again right after halftime. And then their next possession again, they scored. So they scored a touchdown, a field goal, and a touchdown in 3 straight possessions. And that put no dent. That put absolutely no dent in it because the defense kept giving up plays after that. So in order to have a comeback, you also need to get stops. And they did not get second half stops that game. So even when the offense started to get it together, the defense was already, melded in. Also, when we talk about the holes, Dak Prescott was not on the field when the 49ers took the lead in 2021. They got the ball first, scored, and they never looked back. Same thing with the Green Bay Packers. Dak Prescott and them was chilling on the sideline. They're like, oh yeah, we amped. We ready for this. He took a sip of Gatorade and looked up, and his ass was down 0-7, 7-0, 7-0. He still had his Gatorade in his hand. So I understand where y'all are coming from. I do. And again, if you look at the graphic, there are times where Dak Prescott has not played good in the postseason. I'm not here to say that he's been perfect. I would be lying to you. I'm not no lying ass nigga. I don't lie and say that my quarterback's perfect. But what I am saying is that more times than not, Dak Prescott has played well enough to win you these football games. 2016, yes, they started slow, but I want to ask y'all a question. Why do we continue to let the defense give up 21 points? How do you let the defense give up 21 points in the first quarter and a half and act like that is normal? They gave up 21 points in the first quarter and a half of their first Green Bay Packers game. And even with that slow start, it was 21-13 at halftime for the Dallas Cowboys. It was still a one-possession game at halftime. There was a game that they tied multiple times in the fourth quarter. If your defense does not give up, if your defense does not give up a 3rd and 20 conversion, you actually have a real good shot of winning that football game. But we forget this is the 3rd and 20 game. It was 3rd and 20, and they let Aaron Rodgers make a play. So not only did they give up 34 points, they let Aaron Rodgers convert a 3rd and 20. Los Angeles Rams, Dak Prescott didn't turn the ball over. He gave them a lead, matter of fact. It was a 7-3 lead. Dak Prescott hit Amari Cooper. Boom. I was feeling good. Defense could not stop nobody the rest of the game. Random boys off the field. So, and then when we talk here, so yeah, we were, again, I get a little segue. I'll be jumping around back and forth. This is pretty much just how Dak Prescott played in the postseason. So, if you want to count it, and we going by the graphic, right? Because elite, excellent, solid, right? So let's grade it. Dak Prescott, hold on, they said 84. Okay, so Dak Prescott had an elite game against the Buccaneers. He had a Pro Bowl caliber game against the Rams. He had 2 very solid, effective games against the Packers and the Seattle Seahawks. He was a detriment to his team in 2021. He was average in 2022, and he was just slightly below average in 2023. So altogether, Dak Prescott had, because being average, that's average. Dak Prescott has 2, by that standard, he's had 2 bad playoff games. 2022 was average. 2022, you in the 50 area, that just means it's league average. Everything else was above average, excellent, or elite. No were the other ones. So 5 out of the 7 playoff games, you actually had a positive chance of winning with Dak Prescott. Because at the end of the day, the QBRs also reflect your win percentage with that quarterback in most situations. You had a 73.6% chance to win that game with Dak Prescott in 2016. You had a 72.5% chance to win that game with Dak Prescott with the Seattle Seahawks, and you actually did. You had an 84.4% chance to win against the Rams with the way that Dak Prescott played. You only had a 32.4% chance to win that game against the 49ers that first time. You had a 96.8% chance to win that Buccaneers game, which you did. You had a 53.1% chance to win that game against the 49ers in 2022. And you only had a 43.7% chance to win that game against the Green Bay Packers in 2023. But point being, let's just talk about it in the chat box as a family. Has Dak Prescott been bad in the postseason? And judging by this, I can't say that he has. 18 touchdowns to 7 turnovers. That is Dak Prescott. We keep talking about the turnovers, but Dak Prescott only had 7 total turnovers in 7 games. He has 18 touchdowns. He's well past the 2-to-1 touchdown to turnover ratio that we covered. So he's over the 2-to-1 ratio. His QBRs have been pretty damn good in most of these games, with a couple of exceptions. So I need to ask y'all in the chat box, how do y'all feel about Dak Prescott in the postseason? How do y'all feel about Dak Prescott's performances in the playoffs based on this and based on what else you know? Facts, 25.1 to 2.5 to 1. Damn near 2.6, but yeah. Put in the chat box, man, on a scale of 1 to 10, because we asking the question about every position group. How much confidence do you have in Dak Prescott in the playoffs? What's your confidence level on his individual performance? Not if we're going to win or not. What is your confidence level on Dak Prescott being pretty good in the postseason? Put in the chat box. I'm curious to know your answers at this point. Nigel said Dak wasn't the problem. Big Dow, 7.5 out of 10. I feel that. Damn sure feel that. I think Dak been pretty good, but the whole team has to show up. I agree. And that's what I'm getting at, man. I'm not sitting here acting like Dak Prescott ain't never did nothing wrong in his life. I would be a damn lie if I said that. Because even the numbers I brought here today don't say that Dak Prescott was perfect. But what they do say is a majority of these games, he has performed good enough for you to win. He's performed good enough for you to win most of these games. Yeah, Lee, you just typing shit. I still love you. You still my nigga. But you just typing. It's all good. 7 out of 10. Right? Okay, so and compare that to what we said about the running backs. And then when we talk about the defense shortly, we're gonna compare that too. But see, most of y'all at least are giving Dak Prescott a C grade. Some of y'all giving him a 80. That's a good level of confidence having your quarterback going into the postseason. OG Trill had a 9. Right? That's a good level of confidence to have in your quarterback. That's a great level of confidence having your quarterback. So let's move along, man. This is your overall defense, and we'll talk about the rushing defense in of itself. I started not to put the rushing defense up on here because I feel like we'll be better with Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark and them, but I still want to pose that question to y'all eventually. All right, so this is how the Dallas Cowboys defense has performed in the Dak Prescott era. We are the 26th ranked defense in totality, and this is based on an EPA per play basis. So pretty much on a play-by-play basis, what this graph is saying is teams are putting belt to ass on the Dallas Cowboys defense on a play-by-play basis. Snap to snap, they getting their ass beat. This is what this actually means on here, on your screen right now that you're looking at. This is exactly what that means. They are getting their ass beat, play in and play out. So question, I'm just gonna go right into this one. Say, Henny, if the Cowboys play with confidence and relentlessness, I give Dak a 10 for sure. I feel that. So my next question to y'all good people. My next question. How confident are you with this current defense that they won't repeat this? And that's a real question I have because I'll be frank, we had better defenses on paper and they got beat the fuck up. They got beat the fuck up for sure. We had a defense with Micah Parsons and Big Hank and Stephon Gilmore and a healthy DeRon Bland. We've had defenses where Trayvon Diggs was still an all-pro caliber player, and we had J-Ron Curse playing very well. We still had what was left of LVE, and we had Tank. So we had some pretty solid defenses that we brought to this postseason before. We did. Now, granted, you can't really say that about the first half of Dak Prescott's career, 2016 up to 2020. We know that them defenses wasn't really like that, but that's neither here nor there. All right, so my boy Headhunter said 3 out of 10. I see how they gel together. For sure. Said your only word is the cornerbacks. I got some words. I got words about the pass rushers too, because I got to see it. I got to see it. You know, I think that we got some talent there, but you know, project right now. You know, when you talk about talent you haven't seen, is only a projection. You're projecting what a player will do. We don't really have a lot of guys with overt sack production, and I will always take production over potential. You know what I mean? I will always take production over potential. And I'm not saying that's a perfect world to live in, because some of those high potential guys do break through. Some of them high potential guys do become something. But, you know, you said you think coaching has a lot to do with the playoff losses? I agree. I definitely feel that coaching has a lot to do with the playoff losses. My worry is pass rush and secondary. Yeah, we on the same page, Paul. We definitely on the same page, because I like Kobe Durant, you know, and I like Caleb Downs, who will be your starting nickel. They already said he's going to be your nickel player, but I still need to see more at this point before I can say I'm confident in them. But yeah, man. I like our coaching staff. If a lot of us feel like the coaching is one of the primary reasons why these playoff performances have been so shit, you know what I'm saying? Then I feel confident about our coaches right now. I know that Shotty still has a ways to go. You still got to prove to me that he's a winning coach, and you know he got to prove that his way works right now. You know, that's why I'm at with it. We're on with brother Shotty. But, you know, I do want to go out here and give them an opportunity. Now, granted, I want to weapon them up too. I do want to give this defense another edge rusher. But as it stands right now, I'm not very confident in this defense in a postseason battle. Because one, I ain't seen it. It's a bunch of new players. It's a new coaching staff. And, you know, Dan Quinn was a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. And his defense has never panned out over here. So I'm concerned. You know, I'm concerned still until I see it. Until I see it, I'm concerned, dog. Not Harry. Harry Hines is crazy as hell. Hold on, I gotta add this other slide in because I didn't do it. So y'all forgive me. You know, charge it to my head and not my heart, but I gotta add another slide in here. And if y'all appreciate the content, man, share the content. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Sub up to the channel if you appreciate what we doing over here. You know, support the raffles. You know, slap the shit out of an Eagles fan, man. So hold on, let me add this slide in real quick. I'm not sure how I didn't add it in here, but you know, sometimes you just gotta be with the motherfucker while you're in the air. That's what I've been told anyway. All right. Because this is the primary culprits when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys struggles on the defensive side. Because to be fair, you know, outside of like the Green Bay game, the two Green Bay games, I should say, when you played Aaron Rodgers and you played against Jordan Love, outside of them two Green Bay games, you ain't really lost no playoff game because you couldn't stop the pass. You know what I'm saying? Most of this damage was done on the ground. Now, granted, I just said that about Green Bay and how Jordan Love had a great day at the office. They also dominated us up front on the ground. The rushing offense was impeccable. So when you look at 2018, the rushing defense allowed 273 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. You can't win like that. You backdoor and you allow 169 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns against the 49ers. 2022 wasn't as bad, but you still gave up over 100 yards while you struggled yourself to get 50. Your team couldn't even muster up 50 rushing yards, but you let them run for 113. And then, you know, your team only mustered 66 yards against the Packers, but they gave up 143 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. And 3 touchdowns, I'm sorry. And we know that Aaron Jones, the Cowboy killer, you know, always comes and performs against us. But I'm not going to lie to you. And maybe I did it subconsciously. But I feel like our ability to stop the run has been fixed. And I know that this graphic is jarring, and this is probably the most important one when it comes to playing playoff defense. Stopping the run and being able to run the ball in cold weather, you know, that shit travels. That shit travels. But I do feel like this has been fixed with some of the additions that we have. Adding Quentin Williams into the middle of this defense. Adding Kenny Clark into the middle of this defense. Adding Double O into the middle of this defense. Bringing Rashawn Gary in. While I do have questions about Rashawn Gary as a pass rusher, I will not sit here and discredit his ability to play the run. He does play the run well. He's a high effort player. I would definitely give him that much when it comes to Rashawn Gary. Right? Even Eazy-E, you know, played well against the run last year, more so than he did against the pass. You know, he's growing as a run defender. So, and we also know that we'll see some penny looks. We'll have some 5-down looks. We'll have some 3-4 looks. So we'll have situations where we'll have a bunch of guys at the line of scrimmage to sort of fill up them gaps and limit the running lanes that they have. Is also very good at the pass doing shit like that, right? So I feel based on the additions on the personnel, you know. So based on the additions of the personnel and the kind of scheme that we'll be running, I personally feel like the run defense will be better. But I did still want to pose that question to y'all in the chat box while we still rocking. He said, come in, I'll take that defense against y'all offense any day. Even Terrell Wayne and John Stephen admitted their failures in the past were because they weren't committed to stopping the run. Yep, I agree. And listen, it's obvious. Every time you in the postseason, you get ran off the field. You get ran off the field in every postseason game, man. So I know it should be obvious, and they should have did more. You know, they should have did more earlier. You know what I'm saying? While you still had a Michael Parsons on your team, you should have made a real investment in defensive tackle. It would have made his life so much easier. Would have made all the other edge rushers' life so much easier. Because at that point, now you force these teams to do that. Salute to the Flow Man with the 499. They got you another raffle entry, my guy. So salute to you. He said this team is full of front runners. They take a hit and rarely show how to get back in it. Shotty has been trying to build an all-around tougher team. And I can dig that. You know, I can't be mad at something that has basis in truth. Them niggas soft. They were soft. We done seen these niggas get punked on national TV time in and time out. Them niggas is soft. And they get mad when you call them soft. But they don't get mad at the niggas making them look soft. You don't know. But I damn sure feel that shit, man. Like you can't be a tough team. You can't be a tough and gritty team and you can't stop the run. If you can just line up and you living in fear of running backs, there used to be a time, dog, our run defense was so bad. I used to check the schedule for what running backs we were playing. And that shit would have me shook more than the fucking quarterback. I'm like, oh shit, man, we gotta play Derrick Henry. Fuck. Ah, goddamn. Like, for real though. That is not the calling card of a tough, gritty team. For real. I don't like to. I don't like to say it. I don't. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna sit here and lie. I ain't gonna sit here and lie like these niggas some gangsters and shit. They done showed you they wasn't there. Them niggas get punched in the mouth and they go home. They go home and don't come back out. They don't. They scared to come outside like the like the Mo 3 song. Them niggas scared to come outside, man. They get punched in the mouth and go in the crib. So I can't. I can't fight some shit that got truth in it. If you can't stop the run, you soft. And they ain't been able to stop the run. But they have been able to stop the run recently. They have since we got Q. We're starting to get gangsters up front. You know what I'm saying? You're starting to get the right kind of personnel and people in the building defensively. You know what I'm saying? Like you're rebuilding the offensive line to be more smash mouth so you can run the football. And Devontae Williams runs the right way. Right? GP3 plays wide receiver the right way with the energy and getting niggas' faces and celebrating and shit. Like GP ain't no hoe. I don't think GP gonna go out there and get hoed. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Javonte Williams goes out there and get hoed. I think your offensive line is to the point where they're the bullies. They're trying to become the bullies at this point and rebuild what we had back in 2016 and 2014. Having that great wall where people just beat the shit out of them consistently. You know what I'm saying? It was a hassle. We used to have offensive lines that took the game over. And we're trying to get back to that. You know what I mean? So I think we're building towards that, man. But yeah, I feel it. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at anybody that think these niggas soft. If you can't stop the run, you stop to me. What's up with my brother Wee Woo, man? He said, I feel like we're going to need to run the ball more this year to help balance out this offense and to help preserve this new defense. Then you need another running back. Wee Woo, I don't know if you were here earlier in the show. And this was a simple exercise that we did. We showed the stuff that would happen in the playoffs. We showed the running back. We showed Dak. We showed the defense and shit. No, we were showing different aspects of how different people in groups played in the postseason. And we were asking ourselves, were we better suited right now to play better as opposed to what was going on then? So, you were talking about running the ball more. Especially, and I get you were talking about the regular season. I know that. But to tie it back in, I'm asking you this. Do you feel confident in your running back room now not to get shut down in the playoff game? Because I'm just going by a common thing. You know, if Zeke and Tony Pollard can get shut down, then it definitely can happen to Javonte Williams and Malik Davis. That's all I'm saying. So how confident are you, Wee Woo, in the Dallas Cowboys' ability to run the ball as currently constructed when we get into the postseason? Because everything for me is building up to this. If we win 10 games, 11 games, 12 games, I still won't be satisfied, bro. I still won't be satisfied. Salute to my brother Bobby King in the building too, man. Salute to Bobby King in the building. Cuz said, with Parker and new players and depth at DT, I feel confident the defense will be much better. And Philly's bitch asses ain't doing shit against us. Just need to win division first. Damn, I hate Philly. I hate them niggas too. I hate them motherfuckers. He said, hell nah, we need more than that. Okay, yeah, okay. We all on the same page there. We all on the same page there. And hey, Devin, you are correct. I will give you that. The run scheme that Clayton Adams brought over, that shit is night and day, you know, from what the Dallas Cowboys were doing, you know, during some of these runs. So I will give you that. The issue is, you know, is the running back room itself. And I like Javonte, but I did see him start to fade away down the stretch due to injuries. You know, he did get nicked and banged up a little bit as the season progressed. So you need at least another back to help spell him. I don't think they felt that confident in Malik Davis and them like that, because I didn't see them get the ball that much. even when Javonte Williams was obviously limping and hurt and trying to call himself out the game, you know, they refused to take that nigga out. Like, nah, hell no. Nah. You can get your ass back in there, boy. Run this damn football. Well, listen, if we don't know, then we need to know. You know what I'm saying? If we don't know, we need to find out. And I don't have to wait to find that out about a room. If I'm not sure about people, let me put myself on the screen for this. I think people be thinking this is a knock against players and shit, but it's just the way that I move. I don't have to wait in order to figure some shit out. If I have a question about any room here, I'm dropping talent into that motherfucker. If I have a question at wide receiver, I'm dropping a motherfucker there. I liked it, Ryan Flournoy, and I still was not trying to hear no shit about Ryan Flournoy being my wide receiver too. I still stood on the table about getting a wide receiver in the building, and the Dallas Cowboys eventually did make a trade and brought George Pickens in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, and guess what? Ryan Flournoy still shine. Ryan Flournoy still hoop. He still separated himself from the other wide receivers not named George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. So I feel like you should always drop people of significant talent into rooms. You know what I'm saying? You should always drop talent into these rooms, man. Just like with the tight end room. I have questions at tight end. So guess what? I love that they went and brought in Trigg. I had a very high grade on Trigg. I had a 4th round grade on Michael Trigg. You know, so with that being said, always drop talent into a running back room or to a position room. If I have any questions about the other running backs, Blue, if I got questions about Abendakunda, I say his name and shit start levitating around my house. You know what I'm saying? Questions about Malik Davis, if he can handle 20 carries. If I got those questions, I'm still gonna drop a nigga in there, and they gonna fight to the death and figure it out. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm moving. That's how I'm moving. They had questions at the quarterback position. They like, we like Joe Milton, but he might really be a back flipping, on chucking Negro. So they went and got them another quarterback. They went and got Sam Howell, and they dropped his ass in the quarterback room. And y'all niggas want to fight this shit out. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you have questions, you try and find answers, and you don't necessarily have to wait to do that. So that's how I'm moving. Like, if I have any 4th round grade isn't all that good, though, shit, yes it is. 4th round grade, hell yeah. You get people that start in the league out the 4th round every year. So Tony Pollard was a 4th round pick. He is still a starting running back in the league. Dak Prescott was a 4th round pick. He is a all-pro quarterback. Like, 4th round, Jake Ferguson himself was a 4th round pick, especially when we talk about the tight end room and the competition. He had the same grade that Jake Ferguson had. Jake actually went in the 4th round. You know what I mean? So to get somebody with that high of a grade and you don't have to spend a draft pick on them, that is huge. That is huge. You didn't have to spend anything in terms of capital to get Michael Trigg. I would have been fine if we used one of our 4th round picks on Michael Trigg. You know what I'm saying? So to get him for just 200 bands, you know, to get him for just 200 bands is good. You know what I'm saying? I called Land, you know, Land be working his ass off, so I think Cuz might be asleep. But I did call him when I got up this morning to do the show. You know what I'm saying? So Cuz he just might be asleep, man. So yeah, he said Henny and Ferg woke up silent. Hey, man. I don't know about not expected. But, you know, different stroke for different folks. You know, it's all good. You don't quite see it that way, I ain't fussing at you, my boy. You know, we just having conversation. It's all love, brother. But, yeah, man, we for sure are going to we are for sure going to have to get competition in for any position group that we have questions about. Get more people in. Just like, you know, I gotta go to work eventually, but you know, before the day is out, I need to go see if Sneed, Lazarian Sneed, I need to go see if he woke up sorry or not, because I still need competition in my cornerback room. If they were willing to bring in Adoree Jackson and talk to his ass, and I get it, he knows the scheme and he has a relationship with CP, but if you're willing to bring Adoree Jackson in for a cup of coffee, you could bring a former All-Pro in for a cup of coffee in Sneed. He's resolved all of his legal issues. You know, he had a season where he helped the Kansas City Chiefs win a Super Bowl. And in that same season, he did not allow a single regular season touchdown. He didn't allow a single touchdown until the playoffs. I think it was only one. He allowed one touchdown in between the playoffs and in between regular season. Man, I'm gonna look at Chubb too, because I wasn't. And to be fair, when I initially looked at that boy Chubb, I was looking at it for a running back one, so I wasn't really high on any of that shit that I saw from him at that point. I wanted better. But if I go in here just looking for a running back two, you know what I'm saying, then I might see some shit that excites me. So I'm gonna go back and look at Chubb again, my damn self. Salute to my brother Nigel with the 5-piece. He said, did they bring in a running back, or are they waiting for the UFL season to be over? Now, they brought in a running back out of Tulsa. They brought a running back in out of Tulsa at this point. I don't necessarily know how good he is. He was a 1,000-yard rusher. He did play at Baylor at one point. He had to stop at Baylor. And he is kind of a shoddy back. He's not no speedster, nothing like that, but he's like a compactly built runner, tough runner, shit like that. So I don't know if he makes the team, but you know, they did bring him in as a UDFA. Said, would you try and grab Kenny Moore? It depends on how they feel. It depends on how they feel, honestly, man. Because I'll be blunt. We got Caleb Downs. If Caleb Downs is truly going to be my star, I don't necessarily need Kenny Moore. Now, granted, Kenny Moore can also play the safety spot. He can also play nickel, you know. So they sort of like the same player. You low key really need more outside corners at this point than you do with nickel corners. Kobe Durant can play outside. He can play inside. He got that flexibility. You know, DeRon Bland can play outside and inside. But you don't have nobody that you just want to leave out there on an island a whole lot. I think Kobe Durant may be able to be that. You know, I think Kobe Durant may be able to do that and be that and stuff like that. But, you know, I ain't seen it yet. I like this film, and I still feel like Kobe is our best corner as it stands right now. But, you know, I don't necessarily think you need another slot corner. I think you need more outside niggas. If you're drafted, you're expected to compete for a position. No matter the round, the position in the draft is meaningless. It's more or less in order of importance of need at that point. I can feel that. I think there's levels to it too, but you know, I can understand the train of thought. So let's do a quick review before we get out of here, man, because it's been over an hour. And listen, if y'all got questions, we can do some Q&A too. I'm not that kind of, I ain't just going to run off on you. I got a little bit more time to kill. I do got some time to kill. So if y'all want to super chat some questions, you know, I'll answer them in the chat box. So if y'all got questions that y'all want answered, hit the super chat. We'll post them up here. We'll go through. We'll do some Q&A. Not this motherfucker. So we'll do some Q&A, and then we'll get out of here. And if not, then we'll just get out of here. You know, either or. But, you know, I done did a majority of my spiel on the postseason. And if y'all want to do a quick review of what I was talking about, if you would finna catch the show on the rewind about this episode of Cowboys Convos, where we talk about the Dallas Cowboys. We talked about the Dallas Cowboys playoff woes and if we are in a better position this year. If we're in a better position this year, to avoid those kind of situations. Now, the consensus was the Dallas Cowboys running back room. The consensus was the Dallas Cowboys running back room was not in a better position to not look like this because we felt like these were better running backs. Rico Dowd is probably better. Tony Pollard is probably better. Ezekiel Elliott is probably better, than what we have right now, especially when we talk about prime Zeke and prime Tony, and younger Rico. Well, that's what we're talking about. So, yes, he said, how do we push? Salute the Big Dow with the 199. He said, how good can Flo be? I think with time, Flo could be a number 2 for somebody. I do believe with time that Flo could be a number 2 wide receiver for somebody. I think he'll be somebody that can consistently flirt with being between the 800 and 1,000 yard range. He has speed. He has like 4.4 speed. He's 6'2". He's a physical hands catcher. And he's evolving as somebody that can try to create separation. He just need to work on some of the nuances within his routes, especially creating separation at the top. But I think, Ryan Flournoy actually has a pretty good understanding of how to beat zone already. He finds and sits in the zones, that hot pocket shit that Boss be talking about. He does that very well as well. He got good yak ability, as you saw down the sideline in that Jets game. He can catch the ball and become a very good runner. And he is a vertical threat with the 4.4 speed. So I don't necessarily think you see it this year. But Flo could definitely grow into being a number 2. I just think he needs more time, more reps, more peanut butter. He just need to lock in. But I do think that Flo could potentially become a number 2. Will he become a number 2 on your team? I don't know, because if you tag Pickens again, Pickens will be here next year, and then this nigga, will be in a contract year. Flo will be in a contract year at that point. So, yeah, I think that Flo could eventually become a number 2. I think he's dope. I just don't know if he's gonna become a number 2 on your team. That's all. And there's no knock. There's no knock on Flo. But damn good question, man. Damn good question from Big Dow in the building, man. Salute to Big Dow with the 199. But yeah, man, keep them questions coming, man. Keep the questions coming. Hit the super chat. Hit the super chat to get your Q&A answered, man. And if not, then we can also vamp in a little bit. I'll be trying to be fair, because if I answered everybody, we'd be on here another hour or so. So I'll answer the questions in the super chat, and then we'll disappear like a thief in the night. Yeah, Flo takes a big step while he's here with George and here with CD. Then our offense is going to be hell to deal with. Salute the new house with the 199. He said, what you think about Sean Tucker at running back? I think Sean Tucker's dope. I played against a nigga that had him in fantasy last year, so I know that he randomly just explode different games and go in and have production. Now, I got to look at more film on Sean Tucker, but I do like him to add depth to this running back room, because it only takes you being better than what I currently have for me to want you. You know what I'm saying? Now, he's not quite the back that Shotty likes. If I'm not mistaken, he's under 210 pounds. But he's being a pretty solid back. If I'm not mistaken, he had like 6 or I think he had like 7 touchdowns last year on the ground. So I definitely could see a world where he gets cut or he gets traded for a low round pick and he can come in here and contribute. But yeah, I don't necessarily think he fits the mold of what Shotty is looking for, but he is a good running back. All right, so damn good question by my brother Newhouse with the 199, man. So hey, keep them questions coming, man. Keep them questions coming. You got questions, I got answers. Hit the super chat to get your Q&A answered. But yeah, I do like Sean. Oh, SARS, man, and SARS did just get a raffle entry. So that's my bad, man. I'm up here doing a whole spiel. I did not even see my boy super chat. This shit is alive and that's also why I'm happy that we got Sam Howell in the building. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I think Sam Howell now joining the show or sliding in. We talked about playoff performances of different groups. This was Dak Prescott's playoff QBRs. He had a 73.6 against the Packers, 72.5 against the Seahawks, 84.4 against the Rams, 32.4 against the 49ers, 96.8 against the Buccaneers, and a measly, well, not measly, it was above average. He had a 53.1 against the 49ers and then a 43.7. Based on how he's played in his 7 playoff games, he had 4 good ones, 1 average one, and 2 bad ones. So in that case, I will give Dak Prescott an 8 out of 10. I'll give him an 8 out of 10. So yeah, I'll give him a solid 8 out of 10 for his playoff performances. Hallelujah. Because remember, it also reflects your what's up, Cozy? Thank you for tapping in, my brother. Your QBR also, pretty much equates to what percentile chance your team had of winning with you playing like that. 73.6% chance of winning, 72.5% chance of winning, 84.4% chance of winning, a 96.8% chance of winning, and a 53.1% chance of winning in 5 of them 7 games. So he gave you an over 50% chance of winning 5 of these playoff games. So that's why I'm at where I'm at with the grades. He said Sam Howell's a solid ass backup. Preseason gonna be fun. Oh yeah, definitely. We actually get to see some of these guys that we bring in, like Michael. We actually get to evaluate Michael Trigg. We actually get to evaluate, the boy out of SMU. I think his last name is Hudson. The wide receiver that we picked up. We get to evaluate them guys. Trayshawn Holden, if he made a jump this year and is really fighting, to get on the field, we can evaluate him. Year 2, Trayshawn Holden, might be able to make the roster over some of these guys. Like year 2, Trayshawn Holden might be able to make the roster over Jonathan Mingo this year. Or maybe Jonathan Mingo shows why he was a 2nd round pick and he makes the jump. Right? But you have a better chance of evaluating that with Sam Howell. Like with Sam Howell on your team, you have a much better chance of evaluating what's going on. Real talk. Said need to be honest competition this year. See, running back, wide receiver, linebacker. I definitely agree, man. Definitely agree. It wins. I want a competition to where I guess I can't play those I guess I can't play those whatchamacallits. I just got a copyright warning from them niggas like, hey dog, you can't be showing that shit. I'm like, oh damn. Yeah, YouTube try to hate me out. My bad. It's my own fault though. It's my own fault. I probably should have known. You know what? Oh shit. Okay, hold on. I was just finna end the damn stream. This thing was bullshitting with me for a second. All right, we back, but I'm still finna cut the stream though. Cause I do got a couple things I need to do before. I do got a couple things I need to do before I take my ass into work. So we were gonna have a little bit more time, but fuck it, man. Oh yeah, I did snipe that bitch ass nigga. Yeah. I did snipe that bitch ass nigga. Talk about for lying. All right. Now you gonna lie your ass down outside the stream, nigga. Talk about for lying, bitch. Your mama lied when she said she loved you, ho. Don't you ever fucking call me a liar. Only person that ever lied to a nigga was his mama, nigga. Your mama said you was special. That was a motherfucking lie, bitch. He said, hey, I was on stream last night, fifth quarter sports. Boy, they some mad Cowboys fan. They say Dak ass and everybody ass. I mean, because they don't read. They can't read. Niggas with a fifth grade reading level should not talk sports. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand nuances. They don't understand shit like that, dog. So you can't be upset with people. Salute to Kurt. But yeah, man. Hallelujah in the building, Jacob in the building. But yeah, we are finna shut down though, man. I'm an adult and I got to do some adulting. So I know, right? But yeah, let me run, jump out this bitch, run and do what I need to do. I'm gonna take my ass to work. And then after that, man, we'll probably be able to do a stream later on tonight. So God bless y'all. I appreciate y'all. And in the words of my cousin, man, never look down because the stall is up. Peace.